year. We're looking at the NFC wildcard games. Next week, Rams are nearly 10-point favorites against Carolina. Eagles will get a home game against San Francisco. And for just the third time in history, the Bears and Packers will play a playoff game. And get a load of this. Even though this is a 2-7 game, the Packers, the 7-seed, are favored. No 7-seed has ever been favored to win a game since the playoffs expanded in 2020. The team split the series this year. The Green Bay did not trail for a single second in either game. Remember, the Bears won that second one in thrilling fashion. Dan, if you are waking up this morning as a Bears fan and you get Green Bay and the Packers are kind of limping in and they haven't won a game since they lost Micah Parsons, they didn't try to win the game yesterday, so sort of throw that one out there. What is your biggest concern if you're a fan of Chicago this morning?
Can we stop Jordan Love in Green Bay's pass game? And right now the answer would be no. And so you're going to be dependent on takeaways as always. And then hopefully Caleb Williams of the fourth quarter shows up for most of the game, not the guy that was in the first three quarters. Just the inconsistency, and it's kind of been the story of the season. There's moments when you go, is he going to hold this offense back? And then there's moments going to go, he's really taken a ton of steps forward, and that's probably true. But you go yesterday and you go, man, didn't wake up until the fourth quarter. It's kind of what he was last time these teams played as well. Got hot when it mattered the most and leads them to a win. And so I think that's the question mark if you're a Chicago fan. I would tell you this, the biggest one is that defense. Can that defense against the healthy Jordan Love and pass-catching group for Green Bay really play the coverage that they want to and match up?
D. Wood is shaking his head, or not, whatever this is, vigorously. And you don't like the defense?
Absolutely not. We talk about the takeaways, which they lead the league, but this is one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. All you had to watch the game. Anyone who watched the Detroit Bears game, Detroit did whatever they wanted to the Chicago
Bears. They hunted one person.
They were just moving the ball up and down the field against that Bears defense. I don't like this matchup at all. I don't.
Bears defense, Rex.
No, I mean, what defense? I mean, when I look at them, they want you to say we're orchestrating all those takeaways. No, you're not. Like that's part of it. It happens. Great. Okay, yeah, you run to the football. That's fantastic. This defense is awful. And by the way, why don't you tell everybody what you're in? Hey, they're in cover one. Oh, they're in cover two. They don't disguise anything worth a darn. I think this defense is horrendous. It's going to hold them back. And to me, I don't see them winning a playoff game. And wow. I just think, you know, and by the way, when you said you watched that Detroit game, which one? The one they hung 52 up on them?
Yeah.
Like, don't this thing, this time of year, you want a team that can play defense in the playoffs. And we always say defense wins championships. Good luck with this defense.
Well, they can run the football to keep their defense off the field.
Well, that's one thing that they can do. They 100% can do that. This isn't about their offense. I don't think it's about the quarterback. It's about that defense.
And we'll see. I mean, I understand what you're saying. The defense didn't look great. They only allowed 19 points in the game yesterday. I mean, I know they gave up 52
in the week before they gave up 5 red zone touchdowns.
Yeah,
I ain't buying this defense.
That was the problem. So the NFC, it shapes up. Again, just fascinating. There's almost... Outside of Carolina, with all due respect to them, congratulations, they get in the playoffs. That's good, you know, for them. It's a nice step forward for them. Outside of them, I don't think that if you told me anyone was going to come out of there, I wouldn't tell you I thought you were crazy.
I remain shocked or would be shocked that if the NFC representative going to the Super Bowl is not Seattle or LA. I've felt that way this whole season long. Mm-hmm. Seattle's obviously the 1 seed, home field advantage. The defense is remarkable. I think the Rams offensively are as good as anybody in football. The defense is going to have to buckle up with the explosive plays. But Philly's a defending Super Bowl champion and has a remarkable defense and guys who have been there and done that. San Francisco's offense is sensational. I know they got stymied by Seattle, but it's sensational. And so I think that there's really good teams, but I still bank on Seattle or the Rams being the likely rep.
And you see our analytics agree with you. So 14 teams continue their pursuit of the Super Bowl. For the other 18, the offseason has now begun. And as Shefty continues to feverishly work the phones, this is an unfortunate byproduct of the business, but this is the business that we have chosen and that these men have chosen. And in Atlanta, the Falcons won their last 4 games, but that did not keep them from firing Raheem Morris yesterday. If you saw him after their win yesterday against New Orleans, he appeared to be in high spirits. He was hugging Arthur Blank, that's the owner there, all that. And That didn't turn out so well. Hugged him right out the door. Morris was asked to develop Michael Penix. Couldn't get him going, in part because of injuries. So the Falcons haven't made the playoffs since 2017. Only the Jets, who haven't made it since my childhood, have been out of the playoffs for longer. Yeah. This one took me a little bit by surprise yesterday, Chef.
I could tell you this. It surprised a lot of people around the league. Nobody was surprised about the move with the general manager. Once they bring in Sportology to evaluate and essentially look for ways that work is done, people could tell that Terry Fontenot, his days were numbered. I think what surprised people is that Raheem Morris, the head coach, finished this season with 4 straight wins. You heard Bijan Robinson come out and support his coach after the game yesterday. You heard Drake London come out and pour out his heart for Raheem Morris after the game. You heard the players speak out on Raheem Morris. So you have the support of the players. You have a 4-game win streak. And after 2 seasons, you fire him last night. And this is part of a complete overhaul of the organization. This morning, their longtime CEO, Rich McKay, he's no longer doing that job. Greg Beadles is doing that job. They're going to hire a president of football. Many people expect it to be Matt Ryan. They're going to have a new GM. They're going to have a new head coach. They're doing everything over right now, and they are resetting the entire organization.
Listen, I don't know what role Raheem Morris played in any of this, but at the end of the day, the Atlanta Falcons had the most ridiculous offseason of any team I can ever remember 2 years ago when they paid $100 and something million to a quarterback coming off an Achilles late in the season and then drafted a quarterback that at number 8 overall that everyone knew had serious knee injury concerns. And so now they're stunned. You can't take a snap from under center. They're stunned that he's too hurt to play, and the coach gets fired despite finding a way to win these games with Kirk Cousins. I'm not sitting here defending Raheem Morris. I'm sitting here saying that was a pretty tough hand to be dealt, and whoever it is that dealt those cards is the person, I think, who should be taking the blame.
Yeah, Raheem Morris is a good coach. Mistake number 1 was the way that they went about acquiring the 2 quarterbacks. Mistake number 2, and probably the bigger one, is not this offseason making that quarterback spot an open competition. They gave Michael Penix the job and never gave Kirk Cousins the opportunity to be the starter. If Kirk Cousins was the starter to start the season, I think this is a playoff football team.
I think Raheem Morris can be proud that his team never let go of the rope.
Yeah.
To go out winning the last 4 games speaks volumes about what those players think of that man.
And finally, sleeping giant, Atlanta. All that, and we've been saying it forever, all that talent on offense. Defense got a little bit better this year, rushing the passer super quick.
As much as people talk about admonishing them for trading up, the players that they got in that draft this past year turned out to be heck of a defensive pieces for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Again, Shefty is working the phones. We're waiting to see if there's any first home playoff game in New England since Tom Brady was their quarterback. And then, I don't know, you tell me if this isn't the sexiest matchup. Josh Allen versus Trevor Lawrence in the 3-6 game. Allen and Lawrence second and third in total touchdowns this year behind only Matthew Stafford. So let's go quickly through some of these. Dan, first, a blush, Texans-Steelers. Rex has been riding the Texans bandwagon since they were 2 games out of the playoffs. This feels like a very tough spot for Aaron Rodgers and company.
Yeah, it's the best defense in the playoffs, along with Seattle. They're going to suffocate that offensive line. They're not going to give a lot of air for Rodgers to get the ball out of his hands. I'd also say this, C.J. Stroud in this Houston offense. 2023, he's playing against Cleveland, who was the #1 defense in the league last year. Gutted them. Last year, Chargers playing him in the playoffs. #1 defense in the league. Absolutely ripped them up. So it's not only this defense in Houston that I think is going to create problems. I think C.J. Stroud in Houston's offense versus Pittsburgh's defense. C.J. Stroud plays big in big moments.
Houston is a 3.5-point favorite in that game. Let me come here on the Bills and Jaguars. The Bills are a 1.5-point favorite at Jacksonville. Now, this man to my left, who I sometimes jokingly say Josh Allen is like your adopted son.
True.
You called Trevor Lawrence Josh Allen 2.0 on the air a couple of weeks ago. What's your first blush on Buffalo Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, the way he's playing, I think it's Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to win this game. And the reason I say it is like Trevor Lawrence, when I say Josh Allen 2.0, why? He's really showing up in the red zone. He's got that bazooka arm, and guess what else he can do? He can absolutely run it, but he can spin it. He's got such a big arm in the red zone, and he can absolutely take off with it. He's second to Josh Allen in touchdowns rushing by quarterbacks this year. And by the way, they can play defense. This is one of the only teams that has a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. So to me, everything tells me Jacksonville's the team to beat in this one.
Didn't you say just a few weeks ago that Jacksonville's defense was more impactful, maybe better than Denver's defense?
That's right.
Okay, so if you're talking about a defense at that level and an offense that's performed like Jacksonville, where they're routinely scoring over 30 points a game, and they've won, what, 9 straight games?
Nine straight games, and they're number 2 in the league in takeaways, where Denver's not turning the ball over defensively. So to me, what the Bears actually do is get takeaways. Yeah. This team can actually stop you, unlike
and
the
get
Bears.
takeaways.
Yes.
First blush, Allen or Trevor Lawrence next Sunday.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor is on the hit. Trevor has been playing on the heater. Listen, he's the 4th guy in NFL history that has 25 touchdown passes and 10 rushing touchdowns. The dude is playing phenomenal right now, and like you said, and he has a defense to back him up.
And the fact that we're even asking the question, Trevor Lawrence or Josh Allen, tells you how far the Jaguars have come under Liam Cohen. Trevor or Josh Allen. Trevor Lawrence. When was he mentioned with Josh Allen in his career up until this year?
Dan is going to do a Trevor Lawrence breakdown in hour number 2. I want to show you some eye candy this morning. I hope Randy Moss is up.